Hey, what up, guys? This is Serious the Warlock here, and I hope you guys are all enjoying 5.4. I'm having a blast, kind of waiting for the next arena season to start up next Tuesday. Right now, I'm just kind of killing time, eating some pistachios at my desk, and I thought I would go over my user interface. It's probably the #1 question that I keep getting asked right now is, what is my user interface? How can you get it? How do I set it up? Blah, blah, blah. So I'm going to do just that, and hopefully you guys like it. First, let's take a look at my user interface. Here's my user interface once I first enter a battleground. Alright, so I'll give you guys just a quick moment to look this over. In the upper left, I have my buffs. Just below that, I have my raid frames. In the center, just below my character, I've got my unit frames. Below that, I've got my action bars. On the far bottom left, I have chat. Far bottom right is Recount. Just to the left of Recount is my mini-map. I just like to use that to see where flag carriers are without needing to open my map every single time. On the right hand side, I have some more action bars for buttons that I don't use as much, especially when I'm not in combat. And then to the left of that, of course, I have Battleground Targets. I think that about sums it up. The interface in itself is called LUI, and I'm going to show you, this is the website that I got it from. I'm just going to go ahead and put a link to that down in the description beneath the video to make it easier for you guys. Alright, the very first thing I want to recommend, and I want to tell you this before anything else, I really recommend doing this. Go inside your World of Warcraft folder and rename your interface folder. Just right click on the folder that says interface and rename it to like interface old or something like that. When you download LUI, it's going to have, you're pretty much downloading an interface folder, and you're just going to drop it right inside your World of Warcraft directory. If for any reason you're uncomfortable, if you don't like it, once you start going in the process, then you can always delete the LUI interface folder and rename the interface folder that you had previously back to just interface, and then restart WoW, and everything should remain just how it was before you started messing with anything. Then what I do is inside the new LUI interface folder is an add-ons folder, and I'll go under the old interface folder and start copying and pasting some of my old add-ons into my new add-ons folder. That way, I mean, if you want to convert anything over, that's how I would handle it. Should be really quick and easy and take you less than 2 minutes. Alright, so now I'll show you the exact add-ons that show enabled when I click on the add-ons button within World of Warcraft. Alright, so first off we have ArenaLive unit frames. Those are the unit frames I enjoy using. And then underneath of that we have Atlas Loot, and I don't know if I'm going to show you guys. You can pause it if you need to look at anything in here. You're going to see a bunch of things that aren't inside the LUI folder. If there's anything that you want, say like Battleground Targets, that you don't have, you can just go to Curse and download it from there. You can type in Battleground Targets and it'll show up. You can type in there, for example, RecountCC was one I had to install, Reforge Lite, and you also have PlateBuffs. That's what shows the buffs over the nameplates of my enemy. Like if I put Corruption and Agony over them, it'll show the dots and the timers. You can just go right on Curse and just type those names in and download them. Tip Tac's another one. I think I have that one. Yeah, I have Tip Tac at the bottom, and I really like that one as well, just to hover over names. Actually, what I'll do is I'll go ahead and just put links to a lot of these in the description to save you guys a lot of trouble if you're looking for anything. Alright, so now I'm going to show you guys the install process. Once you download LUI, you put it inside the whole interface folder inside your World of Warcraft folder, and you log into the game. I created a brand new level 1 Warlock just so I can show you guys what happens on a fresh install, because it's a little bit different than what a lot of you may be used to. Okay, as soon as you log in, this is what you'll see. LUI version 3 next gen WoW user interface, and there's an install button. You press that, it reloads the user interface, and it knows if you're a Warlock, it's going to pick a purple interface. If you're a Paladin, it'll probably do pink. If you're a Priest, it'll do white, Mage blue, blah blah blah. It knows the resolution of your screen, so it tries to adjust things and make it stretch and make it look nice. In the upper left, you see my portrait and my pet. That's because of the ArenaLive unit frames that I have active. If you didn't install that add-on, that would not show up and be in your way. Instead, the default user frames are the ones you see right underneath of my keybinds right now. My pet is actually, my pet bar unit frame is actually right over top of my character, and to the left of that is me. So I'm giving you guys just a second to look at the LUI default user interface. Before we move any further here, you can see if I target someone, it shows their target, it's got their name, their level. There you can see the target's target. It's very clean and nice, and I think it looks pretty nice straight out of the box if you didn't feel like messing with anything else beyond this. Me, though, being the person that I am, of course I have to mess with everything and adjust everything. So I'm going to go ahead and show you guys exactly what I did to modify my theme. So there's a lot of things about it I don't like how you see my bags in the bottom left there. So what you do is do /LUI to open up the interface, and you can get into all the settings here. A lot of cool things, but what I do is I click on modules, and you can see all the modules, things you can disable very easily. Unit frames, I just disabled that to get it out of the way. I believe I disabled the bags. There was a couple different things that I modified in here, and you might want to pick and choose what you have on yours as well. Like, if you like the bags that come with it, then by all means keep it. If not, if you want your own add-on, then disable it inside of LUI. That way you can use your own. Just like I did with the unit frames. I liked my own unit frames that were outside of the add-on, so I disabled them. Everything is completely customizable, including the colors of everything. So you can see in the interface that I'm in right now, you can go through and make the colors. Like right now I'm adjusting the color of the minimap in the upper right hand side. So for this example, I'm just going to go with the blue theme. Blue is my favorite color, so I'm just going to go ahead and make everything blue. So you can just click through everything. You can adjust the transparency, the color, the shade. Everything can be changed as far as color goes. Even the little spinning ball thing in the top center, I like messing around with the color with that sometimes. I think it looks really cool that it just kind of spins around in there. And you can change that color too to make it anything you want. I'll just go with a light blue. So in the upper right, you have a lot of the settings that you're used to, like, you know, like your PvP bar, your raid finder, guild, friend list, and all that. Right above it is that real dark blue section that I created. Clicking on that will make it appear and disappear. There's a lot of cool things. Clicking to the right of it, that makes your little mini map go away. And to the left of it brings up some raid commands. There's also that bar on the right hand side. You can click it and it will, you can hide some things in there. Like say I just hid Shadow Bolt in there. But if it was something like a buff, or like the summoning, a Warlock summoning spell, you don't really use it that much. You don't need to see it on the screen. You do need to click it every once in a while. You don't necessarily need to keybind it. So you can put it inside the sliding drawer. When you need to summon someone, you slide it out. You click on the spell. When you don't need it, you hide the drawer again. And then you don't need to worry about looking at it anymore. So now you can see the buttons in the very, very top middle. I just clicked on one and Recount showed up. And I clicked on another one and another little box showed up. You can see how they used Recount and they modified it for the theme. It looks a little different. It doesn't really have all the settings shown, which I don't like that. So that's one of the things that I'm going to customize. First, let's start off with the user frames though, the ArenaLive unit frames. So you can go right inside your interface directory and unlock the frames and position them around the screen exactly how you would like them. I usually like my party frames over on the left. I believe at some point I probably disabled those and used Blizzard's default raid frames instead of the ones on this add-on. I like my character and my target right next to each other, sort of in the center of the screen, slightly lower, just beneath my character. I like my pet next to me. To the right of my target is my focus target. Kind of line them up. And then I just put my enemy arena frames right above my focus target. Then you can just go back inside and unlock those frames once you have them. Again, you don't need to customize them exactly how I did it. You can make it however feels comfortable to you. This is just what's comfortable to me. So there's more settings in here than that. You can go under and say my player frame. Right now to the left of my character portrait is like the Warlock symbol and the question mark. And these are customizable. You can change it to your PvP trinket and track that. You can change it to like a silence or an interrupt that you have and change it to that. So that way it kind of frees up where your eyes look to see if you have your PvP trinket up. You'll see I'll also set this up on my focus target and my target and my focus target. I changed both of those to the PvP trinket as well. And I also increased the size of each of my frames to make them a little bit bigger, make them stand out a little bit more. It makes it easier for me to see. It makes it easier for the people that are watching me in my videos and my stream to see. I like my frames a little bit bigger than what they are. You can also check that box to hide Blizzard's player's cast bar. That'll make your little portrait go away. Again, feel free to mess around, experiment in here. Find out what works best for you, because what works best for me might not necessarily be the best for you. I like the border to be a little bit darker than what it was. That's what I just did. I changed the border of my portraits to be a little bit darker. So now I'm pretty much just clicking through all the options. Right now I'm messing with my target. Making sure, like I said, with the icons, making sure that the icons are set for the PvP trinket, and if they have an interrupt or dispel. I set both of those. I make it a little bit bigger. And I just kind of work my way down the list. I don't really know if I need to commentate all of this. Alright, so once you adjust the size of things and make them bigger, they're going to be out of place again, so you'll probably need to move them around the screen. So there, I set up my targets, focus, the party frames I just put up in the upper corner. Like I said, I believe I disable these. I'd rather use the Blizzard default ones. They're a little bit smaller and out of the way. That's about it for that. Battleground targets, I'll just let you guys see what my settings are for that right now. You can drag this around the screen where it feels comfortable for you. I think eventually I put it in upper right. But you can just see the settings if you want to match these up and pause the video. I leave the settings just how they are, and then I copy them over to the 15 versus 15, and I don't use Battleground targets for 40 versus 40. Just, it's too much. Too much. As far as plate buffs go, I really don't think I needed to customize anything. I'm pretty sure it was set right out of the box. But what I'm realizing now is that I don't have a dot to put over the nameplate of an enemy. So I really can't test this, so I'm going to go ahead and level really quick for you guys. So ding, and now I've got corruption, and now you can see it over the nameplates. Works really well. I like it a lot for tracking my dots on the screen. The only problem that I have with it is that if your target leaves the screen itself, the dots no longer display when it shows back inside of your screen. So if you turn your back to it, for example, and you can't see it, and then you go back, the dots aren't there. But if you click on the target, then they'll show back up with their current durations. I'd like to get that fixed at some point. I don't really know what I need to do for that, or maybe I need a new add-on. It's a little annoying, but for the most part, the add-on works fairly nice as long as you don't lose track of what you're attacking. Alright, next up is Recount. I just want to show you guys how I modified Recount to get it back to the way that I like it to be. So you can just go under your settings, and that's not the right settings. You want to click on that config button. Click it, click it. In here I don't do it, but I like to click on all the check marks in the data box under the player section. It keeps track of your enemy players too. If you're in your Battleground, you can see the stats of the people that you went against. So if you're wondering why someone outdamaged you on the other team, you can check the stats and see. Under the window, I check all these, and it gives me back all my little settings that you see show back up. Back, forward, everything you need. And then you can unlock the window and drag it over into the bottom right. I like to get it all in the bottom right to get it out of the way. You can go under the font, change the font to something that you like. You can adjust the row height and the spacing in between. I like mine to be thinner than that. I'd rather fit more data on the screen without it looking too cluttered, like too tiny that the text starts popping out. I like to get it just right. I also like to go under the colors. So the title text, I like to increase the color of that, make that show up, because right now it's just invisible. So there it is. So now it's white. Make it whatever color you like. I just like to see the text show up. You can drag the window around. Now you can see that now that I increase the size of Recount, the animation of LUI and that light box that goes around it doesn't exactly match up. So now the goal is to make those match up. So now you go back to your LUI settings, you click on the frame section on the left hand side, and you have all kinds of little tabs at the top. You click on the one for DPS because that's going to be your Recount one. And it's talking about the frame that goes around, of course, that one that's messed up. So you can go under the width and length and mess around with this and get it to, I mean, because you may have not customized the size of your Recount exactly the size of mine. So you just mess around with these numbers, keep changing the width until you find something that makes you happy. You just keep typing the number in there and clicking OK. I clicked too far, need to make it a little bit smaller. That's a little too small, and add another number to it. And you say you just kind of click around, and that looks like it's good enough. You guys get the idea. Next up is Bartender, which has been a favorite of mine for a long time. You can bring up the commands by just typing /bartender. And in here, it's completely configurable. So many things you can do. I just uncheck the lock button and you can see where all the bars are positioned around the screen. Even the little hidden sliding drawer on the right hand side is bar 10. You've got 2 bars just to the left of the settings that are hidden. You've got 2 bars at the bottom, but I'd rather have 3 action bars at the bottom. You could also see that my pet frames are on the very bottom right. I don't really like that. I'd rather have those right above. So I'm going to put them right there. You can click on the pet bar. Right now it's at the 2 rows. I'd rather just be 1 row straight across. And they very nicely like lock into place, and you can slide them left and right. Also create another bar, and I put that one right above my second bar because I'd rather have 3 bars deep down there. But the scaling is slightly off, so I just make it slightly smaller to match the other bars, and there you go. Now, if you want to add spells into the hidden bars, I highly recommend this. I went over it in my last add-ons video that I did like a year ago. But you can check that box that says always hide. If you uncheck always hide, you can throw all your keybinds, a bunch of keybinds that you know what the buttons are on the keyboard, but you don't necessarily need to see the icon. So I could do that with Corruption or Agony or anything like that that I want. I do it with a lot of macros that I know what the keybinds are, but I don't necessarily need to see the icon on the screen. So you can drag your macros into the hidden bar, which is unhidden. You uncheck the box first, drag your macros in there, set your keybinds so everything's nice, excuse me, and then check the box to always hide. And then what that will do is allow you to use your keybinds on those buttons without necessarily needing them to clutter up your screen. Alright, so right here real quick I show off focus target. It's definitely a button you want to keybind. So I target the guard. I don't have it keybind right now because this is a level 1, but so I right click on the portrait, set focus, and you can kind of, I like how they're parallel to each other. So you can keep track of your target and your focus target and their cast bars, and they're right near each other. Some people space them really far apart, and that messes with me. Like I'd like them to be parallel right next to each other, almost like you have 2 targets. And you do, your target and your focus target. I like them being right next to each other to be able to see what the other one's doing. The other thing I do is I set it up so that I only see the nameplates with the health bars above my enemies and not my allies. You can go inside your keybinds and adjust these. I think by default they're around like the Control and Alt V. I unbind a lot of those and just set the enemy nameplates so that way I don't accidentally mess it up in the middle of a battle. And again, I just like to see my enemy nameplates. It makes it really easy to point out. I know where my friendly targets are. I need the enemy to stand out to me because that's what I want to track my dots on. You can see in Blizzard's default interface settings, I go under the name section, and for friendly units I leave them unchecked, and for enemy units I check them all. Sometimes I mess around with these. I don't really like seeing all the hunter pet bars show up when they do. Otherwise I like seeing the pets. It's just when the hunters pull the stampede bullshit, it gets to be too much on the screen. Alright, so here's my main Warlock again. I guess it's main, one of my two mains. Under the Bartender settings, I'll let you guys see how you don't see the nameplates there to the left of the settings. But as soon as you uncheck the lock button, you can see them there and drag them around as you see fit. I put 2 additional bars on the right hand side, just because the sliding drawer wasn't enough for the abilities that I wanted to see on the right hand side, so I just kind of put them on the right out of the way, and I really don't use the sliding drawer too much. Alright, so that about does it. As you guys can see, this is my interface live in battle. Little punk ass DK thinks he's gonna get the I kite him around so hard it's ridiculous. There are things that I still need to adjust and change. I'm always changing things all the time. Like probably when I log into the game right now, my raid frames on the left hand side, I'm probably going to slide them down a little bit more to make more room for my buffs and debuffs. And on the right hand side, you can see the Battleground Targets is covering over what the ArenaLive unit frames is trying to show me is orb carriers. Every time someone picks up an orb, it's supposed to show up in there that they have an orb, what their health is, blah blah blah. It's the same frames that are used for the arena frames, and I really don't do 5s. That's why I don't have a problem. And I think this Battleground is the only one where you have more than 2 players show up on there. So I don't see any overlapping on any maps other than this one, I believe. If you're in Warsong Gulch, it'll show your flag carriers when they pick up a flag. If you're in Deepwing Gorge, it'll show the cart carriers, things like that. But this is one of the few maps where it shows more than 2 at a time. Well, that's about it, guys. I'm almost coming up to 24 minutes now, so this is pretty crazy. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I keep getting asked a lot on like every single one of my videos what my user interface is, so I hope this clears up everything for everybody and you guys adapt it to your own and enjoy it. I'm still having a blast in 5.4. I've got plenty of other videos that I hope to make soon. It's just a matter of finding time. Really limited on time lately. Thanks guys for watching. If it helped you, thumbs it up, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Take care.